The Sandman, Cory Sandhagen, easily gets past Deiveson Figueiredo, and RDR finally exposes Bo Nickal for the fraud that he is. All this and more coming up next on Fighting with Friends. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends, the undisputed African fighting podcast, champion of the world. UFC Fight Night 257 took place just a few hours ago, and breaking down the card with me for the recap is the reigning defendant, undisputed vegan champion of the world, chief analyst that is, of course, Brother Guy.
Let's go.
Brother Guy, also with us today, ladies and gentlemen. You might know him as Mr. Brazil around here. We know him as George Jefferson. It's Jedi Night. Welcome back, boys. As always, you know, we are starting where?
At the top of the card.
At the top of the card, we saw Cory Sandhagen easily get past Deiveson Figueiredo. Deiveson picking up an injury due to his own nonsense, trying for leg locks and heel hooks and all those funny stuff. But yeah, Cory Sandhagen getting easily past him. Brother Gaia, what can you tell us here, bro?
Sandman, bro. Get this man into a title shot. Yeah, good performance. Building up to that injury that happened, Cory was pretty much doing what he does best, right? And he actually fought better than he's ever fought before. You know, in the past, he moves a lot, and one thing he said he was trying to learn as he's progressing into his career is to actually be a little bit more cerebral and fight when necessary and burst when necessary, and not just move around to stay out of danger, but actually just utilize his footwork for his own benefit. And he did exactly that, and his shots were a lot better. And he had Deiveson fighting off backwards. Deiveson was looking to counter with his right hand more than actually trying to push the face. I don't blame him for that, because I mean, if we are being completely honest, it's bantamweight, and Deiveson is smaller in this division. He is coming up, and a lot of the guys are bigger than him. So I expect him to have a little bit of difficulty dealing with a lot of these guys. Looking for it well against Peter Yan, but in this fight, yeah, I think Cory exposed what he said was going to happen, and that was Deiveson is going to try to wrestle a lot of the time because he can't wait to bully anyone in this division anymore. So, and Cory exposed that, and he did really well. And he did say, I watched the post-fight conference. Cory Sandhagen was saying that the knee twisting coming out of his socket was a position that he had no choice. They called it the 50-50 knee lock, where it was like, if he steps up or sits up onto Figueiredo, it gives him two options. He either has to stay there or he has to move. If he doesn't move, it's going to basically twist the knee. And that's exactly what he did. He forced the knee to move in the opposite position. And it got to move, because then he started seeing Cory was starting to lay down the ground and pound to finish off the sequence. But before all of that, I just thought he was going to win the fight regardless, because he had every avenue. He was just better. You know, he was jabbing a lot better, and he wasn't striking a lot, even though I'm seeing 149 strikes being thrown, but I just feel like a lot of it was on the ground. But when they were standing, he was cleaner. I think Figueiredo only hit him once. If I'm like, landed only one good shot on him, but other than that, Cory was just by far the better fighter on the night. And yeah, dude, it puts the bantamweight in a very sticky situation in terms of matchmaking now, because you got your top 5 contenders all winning, except for Umar Nurmagomedov, who lost obviously his last fight. But I mean, O'Malley has lost his last fight, but he's fighting Marab. So now Peter Yan won and Cory Sandhagen won, and it's like, what do you do now with that division? You know. Figueiredo, I just don't know. Being over 35 is going to be easy for him to get back into that top 5 of the bantamweight. I don't see him beating any of those top 5 guys, and I don't know if he can actually go make a title run if he comes back in such a long layoff, because this is going to be a long layoff for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Jedi, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Cory Sandhagen was obviously the favorite going into the fight. Expected it to be more competitive. Deiveson Figueiredo just seemed flat and kind of sloppy, as you said earlier. But yeah, it goes like that, and then he got injured. I think Cory Sandhagen was kind of flawless today. He moved well. He was timing. You could see he was under no pressure. He wasn't like worried about what Davidson's going to do. I think he shouldn't fight again unless it's for a belt. He's just got to wait in line. I don't understand why O'Malley gets the title shot again. As you said, it's weird. Anyway, it is what it is.
This is number one bullshit.
Exactly. These are the deeds. I think Cory Sandhagen must just wait in line
Yeah.
now to fight winner. And then for Peter Yan, I would like to see, like, it's not dog in the end, but I think Yan and Umar would be a good fight
Yes.
to make.
Yes.
Um, but for Davidson Figueiredo, I'm just like, I'm bummed. I'm sad for him. I think
Mm.
maybe a fight with Henry Cejudo, and then they can both retire after that.
That would
Perfect.
be nice, actually. Yo, that
Perfect.
would be a nice fight.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that would only leave Song Yadong without a fight, and then he could possibly fight Chito Vera.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
don't know if Song Yadong
fine.
will. Maybe they give Song Yadong Figueiredo, but with that knee injury, who knows how long Figueiredo is going to be out for, and that might just
Exactly.
hold
Yeah.
Song Yadong back. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I'm with Jed on that one. In Cejudo and Davison as a retirement matchup for both of them would be absolutely insane, bro.
Yeah,
That will
yeah.
sell out. That will sell out for sure.
Yeah. No, I
Get
said
them
Song
out.
Yadong,
Get them out.
Marlon Vera, Chito Vera, Song
Yes,
Yadong would be
Yeah.
the fight then. So there we
yes.
just sorted out the bantamweight division, guys. Well done. Great
Yeah.
job, guys. Great job. Great job.
We'll,
Any final thoughts
in
here, boys?
nah, that's up to Cory Sandhagen. Don't do anything unless it's for a title. It's
Yeah,
gonna be fun to see fight either Umar. I mean, what's the dude again? Murab or
Madab, yeah,
O'Malley, like we always wanted. So
yeah.
yeah, let's
And Cory
see.
Sandhagen did say in the presser that he would want either one of them. He's like, I don't give a damn. He would want either one because he hasn't fought either of them. He feels like both fights
Yeah.
would sell out because it's good matchups, especially the one against O'Malley. I think that would be more crowd pleasing. But I also personally, I
Mm.
would love to see him fight against Marab just because it's the only fighter that hasn't fought Marab yet, and I want to see what that looks like in terms of the Cory Sandhagen
Yeah.
versus O'Malley fight. Um, what can you say, brah? That's a Premier League matchup for sure. 100%. I would love to see that.
There we go. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any thoughts about that one, drop us a comment there, like and subscribe to Fighting with Friends. Next up, the picture on the screen. It's a great picture. And I'm just
Guide
gonna
us.
go up. It's gonna go up on my wall for the rest of the time. We saw my man RDR starting as a
Yes.
3.97 underdog exposed Bo Nickal. We called it BG in the preview. We
Yes.
absolutely called this one. You don't play with RDR, bro. You don't play with RDR. Like you
Yeah.
said, two-time one championship
Yeah.
champion. So coming up against a very green Bo Nickal who is well overrated and he's finally
Yeah.
being exposed. What a great day. Jedi Knight.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Bo Nichols to begin with. I've always said he was kind of average. Um, I don't understand how the bookies had him overwhelming favorite against, I said, two-time champion, two division champion from one against Bo Nickal with it didn't make any sense, and I still went with Bo Nickal because I don't know why. But anyway,
Because you're looking at the odds, bro. You must never look at the odds when you bet.
yeah,
You must just make
dude,
your
it happened to
calls.
me so many times now. It happened to me with Cejudo. It happened to me with Leon Edwards. It
That's
happened to
true.
me with someone else now recently. So I was like, damn, I know RDR is gonna beat this guy, bro. Like they're gonna choke him out. I know they're gonna
Yeah.
outwork him. But I was like, let me just go the other way. But and then that didn't work out. Anyway, that's off to RDR, an absolute beast. I don't understand why I think the UFC is really testing him because he fought Trailblazer, who's not easy, beat him,
Oh,
Yeah.
and now this Brew
yeah.
is also an undefeated guy and beat him quite easily. Um, I think they need to, like accelerate this guy now. They need to, because
Yes.
if Bo Nickal had won this fight, who would he fight
Yeah. Exactly.
after that?
Yeah.
Who would he
Um,
would fight some?
RDR called out Sean Strickland, so that
Which
would put
I'm
him
all
right
in.
amongst the championship conversation.
I'm all in on
Um,
that, bro.
yeah,
That's
I'm with
that's
that.
that's a dog fight. That's an
I'm with
Yes.
absolute
that
dog
too.
fight.
PG,
Yeah,
give us
I'm
your thoughts
also
off Jedi.
Sorry, what's that?
Jedi, any final? Sorry.
yeah, no, absolute flawless fight. Showed Bo Nickel things that he's never seen before and
Yeah.
timing that he's never dealt with before. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It was completely foreign to him. He didn't know or understand the timing and striking and grappling of what this guy was doing.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see. It was like Brad was like his, I don't know, it was like his debut fight. But anyway,
Yeah.
unlucky to Bo Nickal, after RDR.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, it's almost like you made him quit, bro. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like he just
Yeah.
gave up and
Yeah,
then yeah, basically capitulated. But BG,
Literally.
what's your thoughts there, bro?
Yeah, big ups, dude. Let's start putting more respect on athletes that are not only fighting in UFC. Excuse me. You know what I mean? Because just because it's not in the UFC doesn't mean these guys are high level fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like two division champion and to defend both titles simultaneously and compete at Jiu-Jitsu Worlds all at the same time is not something that is easy for any athlete to do. So you have to put respect on RDR's name. I was saying a lot about him in the one championship, and also remember ADR spoke talking about the fight style where he's going to get in there and clinch with him and make it really, really uncomfortable for him and fight in that position most of the time. And it's exactly what he did. And like Jed said, it's stuff that Bo Nickal has never seen before. He got exposed by showcasing that he's very, very green. Yes, he's only 29 years old. But for me personally, at 29 years old, that is too green. You can't be that green at 29 years old.
Mm.
I mean, Tyler Tolo, them are 22 and they're transitioning now into MMA. You know what I mean? You should have made the transition a long time ago for me personally. Not into MMA only now. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why the level, the class
yeah,
level in terms of grappling is so big between the two athletes. You know, the Ridder was light years ahead of him. You could see in the fight. And those stepping knees that he threw, that's one of his marquee weapons he would use a lot in the one championship as well. So, and I did call for that. I did say in the previous, and I knee this boy. Just watch. And he did
yeah.
exactly that. And
He didn't. He
eh?
didn't block any of the knees. He didn't even
Couldn't.
know or anticipate knees coming for some reason. He was like throwing like that last knee that not the last knee, the second last knee that like put him down was
Yeah.
from like way out. It was like almost
Yeah,
a
he came
meet
so
like a meet
far.
and a half.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
step.
It's like way out. I still landed. I was like, what?
And
This
also, you
man.
know what was quite interesting that showcased the different levels here. There's something that RDR does quite a lot in his grappling. You will notice that he will lock up whichever arm it is under his armpit, and then you will occupy your other hand with both his hands while your arm is locked on his armpit like that. And then what's happening is you busy trying to fight off his hands with your one hand, forgetting that your other arm is locked under his arm. You'll do that when he's pulling guard. You'll do that in the clinch as well. And those moves kind of set up RDR's grappling sequences. He'll go from there into a hip toss or maybe throw knees over there and he'll set up a lot of his moves from that position. And Bo Nickal had nothing to defend that. He just didn't know how to do it. There's a moment where he tried to do a submission, which I thought was a bit of a panic move because Bo Nickal doesn't do submissions. It's not his thing. He's a guy that ground and pounds. He's an American wrestler. They don't submit you. They just want to hold you down. So
Mm.
in this fight, you could see Bo Nickal was just like, I don't know what to do with this dude. I don't know how to get in here. And even when they broke from the position when they were striking, he couldn't hold his own in the striking department either. So yeah, I'm glad and I hope that he gets humbled and he learns to actually progress from us and come off that cloud of like I'm unbeatable and like I'm the best wrestler in the fucking world. You can take a page and say, listen, I can be beaten. And he
This
fought
is like
against someone.
wrestling, bro.
Exactly, it's MMA, and yeah, that was his words, by the way, before the fight. And look what happened, he got smashed. But in terms of RDR, dude, I agree with you, Jade. I think they should definitely fast track him just because he's in his prime, he's 33 years old. He's a two division champion. He's coming into the UFC with that promise of, give him title contention. He did it with Michael Chandler, it was a flop. He did it with the Pitbull, it's a flop. You got RDR in here. He's now 3 fights in 6 months. He won all three of those fights. Let's give this man a bit of an opportunity to climb the ranks a little bit faster. If they don't give him Sean Strickland, which I'll be gutted for, then give him Anthony Fafi Hernandez. Give this man a chance to go and really
Nah,
put
nah,
himself.
nah.
Why not Anthony?
Everybody is on Israel Adesanya, bro. Everybody wants to beat up
Everybody
Israel
wants easy,
Adesanya. That's like the money and the status thing, you know what I mean? Plus, he's on a down,
yeah,
so like
yeah.
Mm.
people
But
are
is he
looking at
calling for
easy
Sean
like
Strickland also? So
Oh,
and I think
really?
he gets that. I think he gets that fight. Yeah, yeah. He was training
nah,
with Goggins, so he announced there. I want that fight back. I want it back, man.
Oh,
So
really?
I think he gets that fight because that's obviously a fight that he desperately wants to get back, and also a fight
Yes,
that people want to see if it was a fluke or not. So I think that's probably as
I
good
get
as
it.
made for me. But if he doesn't
But
get
then
Sean
who?
Strickland, then let's go to the ratings here, the rankings, excuse me, and tell me what you guys think. I'll go to BG. Who you calling
Yeah,
for here?
the reason why I was saying Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is because that can be a fight that can guarantee RDR's a title contention or top five contention. If not Anthony, because Anthony's also on his way basically to fight top five, right? So if not that dude, give Whittaker, because Whittaker declined the
Yeah,
matchup earlier.
Whittaker.
I would say give him
Whittaker.
Whittaker's a fantastic bro. I don't know if we can get Kyle Baralho, because Kyle Baralho for me is in that sweet spot to
Nah.
basically get a title shot. So I would say Robert Whittaker.
Whittaker's the way, bro. He's the gatekeeper, I think, for
Yeah.
the title.
or
Fair.
Anthony Fluffy. I know that Roman Delite won his last fight against what's her name? Who was that that he fought? Vittori. And he beat Marvin Vittori.
It doesn't do
fight.
anything for anyone, bro.
But Vittori,
I think Vittori is like,
Vittori, Delite has been on a win streak at the moment. And he's climbing that ranking. So the UFC might just do some silly move like that. But I just personally feel like that will be a waste of talent for RDR. And
I
his
would
contract
like
out.
Do you want
to
to watch
listen
that?
to and Hernandez. Delite and Hernandez, I think, should throw down.
Yeah.
And I think Ryder and Whittaker, bro. That's a
Whittaker.
good fight.
It'll be a sick fight.
Carbaralho Imavo for the number one contender. Comes
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Tricus.
yeah.
Comes out in Tricus, yeah.
Done deal.
That's the
Dana
matchup.
White. You're very welcome. But yeah, let us know if you have any different thoughts here, ladies and gentlemen. Or maybe even if you agree with us. I mean, it's hard to disagree with those fights, I think. But yeah, let us know in the comments if you do have any thoughts. We'll go now to the welterweight division.
One thing-
And here we saw.
Just also
Sorry?
just a big shout out for both Cory Sandhagen and or to get their 50K on the night.
Very good, very good. Okay, to the welterweight division we go. Santiago Ponzinibbio and Daniel Rodriguez D-Rod coming straight from the streets of Southern California. Mixtape and whatnot. Played his own track to walk out.
Crazy.
What a G. And got the job done with star points on the night here. Great knockout. And yeah, you look good. You look good. So yeah, PG, what do you make of this one, bro?
Again, another fight that we called, bro. We said it in the preview. I said that Santi, they're gonna box. They're gonna stay in it. Stay in up war. I expected to bang out of it, but I did say that I think D-Rod is a better striker. He fights longer. He uses his length better than what Ponzinibbio does. He establishes his jab nicer as well. Whereas Ponzinibbio is more like a shorter striker, likes to just throw hard overhands, kicks very hard, but doesn't set up those strikes. He just throws them with a lot of heat. Whereas D-Rod sets up a lot of his strikes, which is what we saw, and that's why he was landing so cleanly. And dude, I enjoyed the fight from the first round right through because both guys didn't take a step back. They were really trying to hurt each other. Surprised that no one really tried to wrestle. Actually, not surprised. I'm not surprised. I would have loved to have seen Ponzinibbio do more.
I think Ponzinibbio did shoot a couple of takedowns in the second round.
Oh yes, they are.
He
Yeah.
actually shot consecutive takedowns. He was
Yeah.
unsuccessful once, and then he went straight back to it.
Yes, you're right.
But I think that was
Yeah.
pure desperation because he realized that he was in there with a gangster.
Yeah, he was getting pissed off, bruh. And that finishing sequence from Dido was beautiful, dude. And yeah, just gotta give him a shout. I can't really say much in terms of like what these guys can do next because both of them are not really gonna get top fights if we're being completely honest. They're of that age right now where they're gonna be on the pay-per-view card because they can sell a crowd. They're gonna be entertaining to watch, but they're not really gonna fight for any title anytime soon. So for that reason, I would say, okay, cool. It was a great fight in the whole package because of the main event that didn't have a lot of fun fights. This actually was one of the very few that there was a good fight on the fight card. So big ups to both of them and for D-Rod for his mixtape. Sounds good.
Yeah, but I think he's starting his rap career now. He's ending his fighting career, so it's good
That's
business. Jedana, do you have anything you want to say?
That's quite.
I said that it was like a investment move. He was like, okay, if I win this fight, I'm set, bro. I can do a couple of albums after this
Wait,
studio
Get
time.
that studio time.
Exactly. I was very impressed by D-Rod, very shocked. I thought Santiago was a bit gun shy to throw for some reason in the first round, and that kind of put him on the back foot. Plus, he looked rocked towards the end of that first round, like he was very out of sorts. But D-Rod taking the opportunity and making the most of it, perfection. I didn't know, like Ross is, I didn't know where this leaves the guys. I think Santiago's close to calling it quits. And as you say, I think D-Rod might retire on a high. He's got other plans.
Yeah. I mean, this is the bottom of the welterweight division, these names here.
They always,
So
they never
Michael
move.
Morales is fighting Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's not really much we can say. I don't think. I don't Vicente Luque maybe for D-Rod, possibly, maybe. No,
I don't know.
not buying it.
I don't know.
Nah,
I don't know.
All right. Okay. Well, good. Best of luck to
possibly.
D-Rod.
That's a yeah. Possibly. I don't know. I can't. I
D-Rod
don't
must go to 8 Mile now, bruh.
Yeah.
Before that his next move. But now, let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll keep it moving to the bantamweight division and getting tired just thinking about this one, to be honest.
Yeah.
Montel
Oh, no.
Jackson, Daniel Marcos. Damn, bro. How is
I'm
Daniel
gonna,
Marcos undefeated, bro? How was he
You-
undefeated coming into this fight? He didn't
it's,
even
the,
throw a punch.
it's the game planning, man. You know, the same way he beat Adrian Yanez as well. It was just like those. It's almost the same way. What's the other guy who fought on this card? Mason Jones. It's like that.
Mm,
The way Mason Jones fought in the third round against Jeremy Stevens, it's like that, man. It's like we're gonna do the safest thing we can do so we can actually secure this win. You know what I mean? He's not gonna
mm,
go in there and put on a smash of a performance and piece people up and knock people out and put on submissions of the year kind of stuff. It's more of like I'm gonna try and beat you very safely, take the least amount of damage, and also win in a very competent fashion. You know, nullify you as much as I can. That's how you beat Giannis as well. A lot of takedowns, a lot of grappling, a lot of staying on the ground, throwing an elbow when necessary. If we did stand up, defend, take down again, and stuff like that, man. And that's what he was
mm.
trying to do in this fight as well. You could see Montal wasn't giving him any of that. Montal was really trying to be active and work off his jab, make the striking. You know, he was pushing the pace, making it a bit of a fight for the fight because, I think if Montal didn't do that, we were gonna have a more of a snooze fest that we already got because the fight was a little bit boring to
Sure.
watch. To be honest with
Yo.
you, I mean, I was dozing off. Bro. I was like, I don't really doze off through fights, and that was a bit upsetting to watch. So yeah, Montal he maintains his number. I don't know if he did enough for me to go. Oh, I want to see his next fight, and I'm amped to put him in another big matchup. It's like what really can you say from that kind of performance? For Daniel Marcus, it's his first loss, so yeah, I'm sure we'll see more of him again.
Yeah, Montel Jackson is ranked at number 15. I mean, yeah, I don't want to watch him fight again, really. I mean, maybe I'll put on a but I mean, fair play. Actually, going, I think it was more Daniel Marcos who made the fight boring with
Yes,
all the
that was
all the
Daniel.
Yeah.
hugging. Because Montel Jackson, I think there was a stat that I heard has the most knockdowns in bantamweight history, bro,
Yeah,
ever.
Oh,
yeah.
So
No, he's a
it's
good fighter, bro. I hyped him up in the preview for a reason, and
mm,
I'm a fan, and I just think that Daniel Marcus, the style he fights is that kind of style, man. It's boring to watch, but it almost guarantees wins every time. Hella boring, but
mm.
guarantees wins. And I think Montal was like, I'm not going to let you
and
have that. And he did a good job.
Yeah, look, I mean, there he is at number 15 in the bantamweight. There's Ayman Zahabi's fighting Jose Aldo, Marcus
Also,
McGee,
yeah.
and Kyler Phillips. I don't think have fights, so that's possibly the next move for him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Do you want to
we'll
watch that?
see. We'll see. We'll see.
Maybe give him
Um,
Marcus McGee.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he won at the end of the day, bro, against a guy who was making the fight really boring. So I'll give him another shot, and like he
Mm.
does have the most knockdowns in bantamweight history. So yeah, give him another chance and see how he does, and we'll see. But okay, we'll go to another bantamweight fight, and here we saw Sergey Sidey defeat
yeah, I
Cam
didn't watch
by
this,
unanimous decision.
so I'm gonna buy.
Okay, shot Jedi, give thanks.
Cool guys. Catch you next week.
Safe.
Alright, cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Safe, bro.
So yeah, brother Guy, what can you tell us here about the Timu Cory Sandhagen getting the job done
Both Timu fighters fighting each
against the
other here.
Timu Jamal Hill?
Timu Jamal Hill took on Timu Cory Sandhagen. I'm a bit upset about Smotherman and how he fought this fight. I expected him to come out a little bit more aggressive, utilize more kicks, which is what he didn't do, and also maybe take the fight into a clinch position and fight up against the cage. What he did was he fought exactly like his trainer in Diego Sanchez, where he just took the center of the octagon, hands up, and we're gonna circle, and just stand and bang over here. And that can work. It does work, but I think we have to give props to Sidey for using his footwork, throwing knees up the middle, throwing some elbows when they got in tight, and work off his jab, which ultimately made him to be the more accurate and more active fighter. And you can't really score against that. When Smotherman wasn't really landing that much, there was moments when he did land, you could see Sidey's action wasn't. He didn't like those strikes. He was like, "Whoa, this guy actually hits very hard," you know. And Smotherman's he's a talented kid, bro. He's got something in there. I just think he needs to evolve his game where maybe add some wrestling into your boxing, you know, or maybe add some kicks into your boxing. What made Strickland box himself into a title fight was he's using a lot of tips. You know, Spider-Man can maybe attack the carve a lot. You know, someone like Sidey that is moving so back side to side, you kick his legs, bro. That man's moving nowhere. He's gonna stand in front of you now. He's gonna have to box with you. You know what I'm saying? That's how you stop these guys that are jabbing and moving and jabbing and moving. You take out their legs. You don't let them step aside so much. You let them stand dead still, and now you put them in the boxing range for yourself. And Spider-Man wasn't doing it. Spider-Man was just walking into the void and just throwing and banging, and he landed some really good left body shots. But Sidey was conditioned, you know, and he was moving when the shots landed. So a lot of it was taken. You know, he took this thing out of the shot from moving away from it quite frequently. And yeah, I'm gonna say good fight from Sidey. He didn't get the finish, but I didn't expect him to get the finish. If I'm being honest, but his movement was really good, and I like to see that. And if he can get some more power into his shots, put some more muscle on him, he can become a very good fighter in the bantamweight division. Because Smotherman, he's still very young, and there needs to be growth. And what I want to see from Smotherman going forward here is to widen his arsenal of strikes and also increase some offensive wrestling, even if it's just tapping the ankles, not actually getting those takedowns, but making your opponent think about other things other than just your boxing. You know, make your opponent realize, oh, he can still kick me, or he can tip me, or front kick, or he can maybe even shoot at any moment. Because Sidey was out, in and out again, and Spider-Man was getting caught in that movement where he was missing a lot of his shots away. When Sidey's coming in, he can maybe just shoot for a double leg. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't even attempt any of that. Zero attempts of takedown for 3 rounds. That must tell you, you know what I mean? I think there's a lot that he has to go and learn as he goes in this bantamweight division. Because if you look at that bantamweight division, yeah, that top 10 will eat him up for breakfast. So yeah, he has to learn. As for Sidey, well done. Good fight. He fought a good fight. Wasn't the most entertaining, but he fought a good fight.
Yeah, well done on the night to Sidey. We'll go now to the lightweight division, and here we saw Jeremy Stevens unfortunately falling short against Mason Jones. Mason Jones showing some of that Ian Gary fight IQ, playing it very safe towards the end there, wrestling, because he had a clear grappling advantage against Jeremy Stevens. And yeah, best way to nullify the power is to take the man down. Can't use his power on the ground. So yeah, PG, give us your thoughts here, bro.
Again, another crowd was booing, and we were like, "Oh, it sucks. Why did he do that?" and everything. But if you and I were in the corner of Mason Jones, we'd be screaming for him to get the takedown. You know what I mean? We'd be shouting at him, "But don't stand up there, don't!" Because if you're being real, the first round Mason Jones won the first round, narrowly. But then in the second round, Jeremy Stevens picked up the pace. He was bobbing and weaving a bit more, and then when he did let his hands go, he landed on Mason Jones. Mason Jones didn't like it. He actually got docked twice in that second round. And I was like, "Yay, Stevens looks like he's turning back the clock here, bro. He's actually putting on some good performance here. Um, some good calf kicks as well. They were quite even with that calf kicks, but I mean, Stevens's boxing had a bit more pop to it, had a bit more venom to his strikes when it did land. And Jones, you could see Jones's eyes were closing up, and he wasn't liking it. And in the end of the day, to secure the win, he had to do something in the third round because he won the first one. And he went by wrestling, and he realized he had a stronger wrestling base, and he utilized that. And again, didn't like to see it, but I have to commend it because it's. I realize if I was a coach, or if I was fighting in the octagon, I'd probably do the same thing. You know, I need to get the dub. The fans can boo all they want. They're not going to pay me. You know, UFC's paying me, and I need to get to my next fight. So I'm going to take him down, and I'm going to try to win the fight like that. I would have loved to have seen Mason Jones maybe ground and pound, maybe try to finish the fight when he took him down. Because what I saw was he just wrestled to not get hurt. He wrestled so that he doesn't lose, because I think he knew if he kept him standing in the third round, he probably would have gotten stopped by Jeremy Stevens. And so yeah, very clever, very Ian Gary-esque for him to have done that style. So yeah, big ups to Mason Jones. And nice to see the old man Stevens back, but I also feel like that was a UFC move just to sell out that crowd, to be honest. I think it's safe to say that we know we can't see Jeremy Stevens actually do anything in this lightweight division, if we're being completely honest. So that was just a good thing for that particular crowd, because that's most the homegrown Jeremy Stevens.
Do you see Mason Jones as a potential future contender in this lightweight division? It's of course stacked with killers from top to bottom. So,
Yeah.
do you see him possibly breaking into that top 15, maybe making a run at the top 10?
Um, Firstly, I would actually, if we got the rankings on screen now, I would actually change that ranking a little bit. The bottom three, Benoit Santini, Grant Dawson, and Joe Alvarez. I think Joe Alvarez is better than Grant Dawson and Benoit Santini, if I'm being honest with you. Just because of the
They-
inactivity, he's not
They're
higher ranked.
fighting. I think the two of them are fighting next week. BSD and Joe
Okay,
Alvarez. Yeah.
this we're gonna see Joe Alvarez put on a show. Just watch that. Because I would say the only people I can really see Mason Jones beating in that lightweight division is probably Grant Dawson.
Mm,
I don't know if he can beat Joe Alvarez. I don't know if he can beat BSD. Michael Chandler, for me, should probably leave the UFC after losing to Paddy the Baddy. Fazeev, I think, will smoke Mason.
yeah.
Moicano will smoke Mason. Dalglish will smoke Mason as well. So I don't want to talk about the other guys. So
Uh,
realistically, I would probably see Mason Jones versus Grant Dawson next. We're probably going to get that matchup. But Joe Alvarez, I'm looking to see him more likely to be a future champion than Mason Jones.
nicely done, BG, and that rounds out the main card very nicely for us. We'll go to some prelims now, and I'll let you talk us through some honorable mentions, BG.
Let's go for that. So let's start off with the women's bantamweight division. We had Yana Santos taking on Misha Tate. Yana Santos was ranked number 9 coming into this fight. Misha Tate was ranked number 12 coming out of retirement, by the way, to take this fight on and put on a good performance for both ladies. This was the main event of the prelims. I did say in the preview that Yana Santos was going to win the fight. I thought she might have stopped. She probably was going to stop Misha Tate. She didn't, unfortunately. But she won the fight over the first 2 rounds. Did what I thought she was going to do by utilizing the boxing, deeping elbows when they got into the clinch position because she likes to fight. She likes to just walk you down, and when she gets in close, we're gonna clinch, take you down, and make the fight happen. Whereas Yana was like, we can fight in the clinch. I'm gonna elbow when we get here, and she was doing exactly that. And she defended all the takedowns, bar that last round. We know what Misha Tate's game plan is gonna be. Think shades of when Misha Tate beat Holly Holm for the title. Very similar kind of matchup. Misha was getting beaten up for majority of that fight until the 5th round, and she just shot her own Mary and got the takedown and sunk in the choke. She did exactly the same thing in this fight, where she shot the takedown in the 3rd round, landed the takedown, and you could see she was getting close to really actually getting the submission. But big ups to Yana Santos for actually defending it really well and showcasing why she is a top ranked fighter in the strawweight bantamweight division. So yeah, I want to see her climb. I want to see her climb the ranks a little bit more. Who should she fight next? Let's look at that bantamweight division. Um, there's Bueno Silva, there's Macy Chiasson, there's Norma. I think Norma Demont's closer to a title fight than what we think. So I would probably go as far as to say Yana Santos should not have been ranked so low, and let's give her either Arena Dana or Mayra Bueno Silva next, just to get her into that title contention. But yeah, big performance from her, and I was quite impressed with how she fought on the night. For Misha Tate, I'm not going to say anything because I might just be really rude, but she shouldn't have been there in the first place. If the UFC is calling an athlete like this, a former champion, to come out of retirement to compete in a division that is pretty much, kind of stagnant, for me, that speaks problems. So, yeah, just invest in Yana Santos. She was there for that reason. She was in the top 5 at one point. Let her go back into the top 5. Give her a more higher ranked opponent, not someone that's ranked below her. All right, hey, let's move on to the next fight. Middleweight division, we had the what's it called? You call it the Ultimate Fighter Season 32 winner, middleweight winner Ryan Loader. He took on Azamat Bakuev, and Bakuev. I said he was gonna go and beat Ryan Loader. I called it again because Ryan Loader. I'm not a fan, dude. He's just a very good Division 1 wrestler, but he doesn't strike very well. He doesn't have a killer instinct for me, and when I see him get tested, he doesn't really like it. And I had a feeling that Bakuev was just gonna go in there and just hurt him, make him not like the fight. And that's exactly what he did. Uh, Closed the distance immediately and just swarmed him with a lot of punches, but all just strikes left, right, left, right, left, right. Eventually, just folding the Ryan Loader and getting the TKO finish. And yeah, top performance from Azamat. I heard that in the press conference after this fight that one of the guys asked Reinier de Ridder if he was going to fight Bekuev because Bekuev called him out, and Ridder said, no, no, thank you. That fight is absolutely meaningless to me. So unlucky Azamat, but yes, he did get a performance bonus on the night. So yeah, big up to that. And you beat the guy who won the Ultimate Fighter. So that's going to give him some kind of weight for when he calls out his next opponents or when they're going to negotiate his next matchup. So I'm keen to see him fight some more. I don't think he's going to be a champion in the middleweight division as long as DDP is there. I don't think he's going to be a champion. And also, the style that he has doesn't spark a lot of confidence in me that he can actually be a champion. He just goes and smash, smash. Typical Russian smash. Fights like a little bit like Anatoly Malikin, but the technique isn't the same. It's a little bit off for me. So I don't know. I can't see that kind of style going there and being a champion in that division. He has to do a bit more than just that for me. Okay, let's keep it moving. Lastly, the last honorable mention, women's strawweight division, top ranked opponents here. We had Mahina Rodriguez, ranked number 9 in this division as well. Took on Julian Robertson, who was ranked number 10, or number 11, I think. I thought Rodriguez was going to win. I thought she was going to use her boxing. I thought she was going to be a bit stronger, use the elbows in the clinch when it was necessary, because Julian Robertson only had one path to victory, which is what I thought it was going to be, which was the wrestling. Take her down, maybe submit her, maybe TKO her. She did get that. I just expected more from Rodriguez to actually, when they did get into the clinch position, which was going to be inevitable, to actually use that elbows there. She didn't do any of that. She was getting tagged, which was weird to see from someone who doesn't box as well as her. And then she got taken down quite easily. And once I saw that she couldn't defend the takedown in that first round, I thought, oh, that's actually not a good sign. So big ups for Julian Robertson for being on the win streak at the moment. She's now currently going to be added into that top 10 of that strawweight division, which is quite nice. I want to see more of her because I watched her in the Ultimate Fighter, and she wasn't too bad then, but she was very timid, very small, flyweight division. But she was also that was almost 10 years ago. She was much younger. She's now 30 years old. She's in that prime position of her life. Body's built nicely. She's got good wrestling, and I would like to see her go up there. And if you look at that rankings we got on screen, she beat Mahina Rodriguez, right? She called out Amanda Lemos. A part of me wants to see that fight actually, because if you look at the fighters below Amanda Lemos, there's Jessica Andrade, there's Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Ribas. Maybe Amanda Ribas will actually be the better fight for her to get, because I don't know if they're going to give her Amanda Lemos so quickly. So they're probably going to give her someone like Amanda Ribas. Mackenzie Dern's going to be prioritized to fight upwards because she beat Jessica Andrade last. So I would love to see Jillian take on someone like a Mackenzie Dern or Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Ribas, or even Tabitha Ricci. That would also be a fantastic fight to watch. You can't really bypass Tabitha Ricci and Lupi Godinez, considering that they didn't do too bad in their last fights. I mean, Lupi Godinez won her last fight, by the way. She did good in that last fight. So, yeah, I'm amped to see this division grow a bit more. Let these women fight more frequently, especially with a performance like what Jenna Robinson did over this last fight now against Rodriguez. I think prioritize it, dude. They're not getting any younger. Let them fight a lot more frequently, and we can get these divisions growing. Because I think there's good fights to make there. Definitely considering that Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Lemos, these ladies all won their fights. So I think there's good fights to make. And now is the time, dude, because none of them are actually injured. So let's go for that.
Very nicely done there, BG. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you have made this far in the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to Fighting with Friends. Watch the podcast every day. You give us some final thoughts and a post-fight rating for the card, please, sir.
A bit gutted and the main event ended. I wanted to see it actually go a bit longer than that. Excuse me. In terms of the whole entire in terms of the entire card, I can't remember what I said preview. I think I said 6.5 or something like that for the rating, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to bring it down to a 6. The only thing that I actually thoroughly enjoyed in the night was Bo Nickal losing, and Cory Sandhagen won. It was nice to see, but I think Bo Nickal and RDR is going to take the headlines for me for this night. So I'm going to leave it at 6.
Yeah. I think a 5 from me. I think the only thing, like you said, the only positive was Bo Nickal getting thoroughly exposed on the night. So yeah, it was a 4, but I'll push it up to a 5 just because RDR got the job done, like we predicted. So yeah, again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Just another reminder to please like and subscribe to Fighting with Friends. We'll of course be back next week for UFC 315, as well as a lot of other content related to the MMA and combat sports world, excuse me. But okay then, PG, thank you again for your time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. And we are out of here.